Okay, guys, we're trying this again. Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. We're gonna try this again. We're gonna try this again. Hello. Just waiting for people to get on. Sorry, guys. Oh, here we go. All right, we got this. All right. Jess, I'm still learning to do the. Oh, here, perfect. View. Good. Okay, it should request you, or it's gonna have you hop on.
Okay.
There we go.
It worked.
Okay, it worked. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, great. Thank you for asking. This is so confusing. I actually I'm still learning how to do it too, so I'm glad you found the right button.
Yeah, I know. I've never done this before, so.
Well, you're thriving. You did great. So we're all set. We're all good to go. Okay, so everyone that is on or is going to be coming on, I feel like I say the same thing every week, but hello, this is our third episode of Chat E. So super happy to have you every Sunday at 8 o'clock. Each week, I'm going to be interviewing someone different who is doing well in their field, kind of just talk about their story, help to motivate us and encourage us on the ventures that we have going on and things that we're working towards in our future, and just check out people's success stories, and motivate them in this crazy time. So this is my wonderful friend Jess. We just met recently and I'm so thrilled to have you. So welcome.
Thank you. I know. I'm so glad that I met you too.
Yeah, this is going to be so fun. I'm so excited to work with you. So this evening we are going to be talking about holistic health, which is very different than anything that we've talked about so far, and honestly something I'd like to learn a lot about because truly I feel like I don't know too much. So do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. So my name is Jessica, and my page is No Guilt Goodies. I just it's kind of like still a baby. I just recently started it, being really active and stuff. I feature, a lot of my posts are healthy goodies and treats. So, I don't use any refined sugar, no refined flour. I use all whole, organic ingredients that are good for you. But also, what I really try and talk about on my page is the importance of holistic health, which pretty much means, it's taking care of not just the physical aspect of you, not just your body, but as well as your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being. Because I truly believe if you're not taking care of one part, then the rest of you just it's not, it's important to take care of all parts of you, pretty much, not just the physical aspect of and the food aspect of health. So that's really what I'm just trying to get out there and kind of help people go through that and help them with kind of guide them towards how to take care of themselves as a whole.
Right, absolutely. And I feel like that's so challenging. Our brain is pretty sure the muscle we use the most, and we don't realize how much our mental health affects us every day and everything that we do. So exercise, physical exercise and stuff helps us to feel better oftentimes. But if we're not taking care of all those different areas, like you said, then we're going to be out of whack. So I'm definitely not always very good at that. So I am very excited to learn from you this evening.
Yeah.
So like I said, thanks again so much for being here. So the way this is going to work is I would have some questions written down, and I'll just be asking you. We'll just kind of converse and talk about stuff, can add in things at any point in time. People on the bottom have the opportunity to ask questions and speak to us if they'd like to. So it's cool because they can interact as they'd like, and yeah, just kind of run down like that. And then people will be hopping on and off the whole time, so it's kind of fun because we get a different crowd all throughout. So
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So the second thing was kind of what do you do? You kind of explained that. Do you have anything else you want to add into your business, or you feel like you kind of covered that for the most part?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I'm trying to do right now, with my page. And what I'm trying to do is kind of, build a community, of people who are also interested in health and wellness and how to take care of themselves as a whole. Eventually, I do want to become a certified health and wellness coach.
Right.
That is my that's my long-term goal, and it's just going to be a way for me to really work with people one-on-one when it comes to health and wellness, because I really think that it's not a one size fits all. The good thing about health coaching and the good thing about health coaches is
Right.
is that one-on-one time that they spend with you, because there's a lot of factors that that determine on what's going to work for you. Your sleep routine, your stress levels, your jobs, your relationships. It's just there's so many other factors that you have to keep in mind when trying to start your wellness journey and trying to, be healthier and be a better version of yourself.
For sure. And I think, like you said, the one-on-one aspect is so important because everyone's different. And so, like, one person might need to focus more on their stress levels and, like, figuring out how to get that down. Someone's not sleeping enough, like you said, or their diet's terrible. So I think it is really important for pretty much everyone to have, like, a coach of some sort, or, like, that support system and someone on their team to be like, hey, like, this will help you,
Yeah.
So that's super awesome. Yeah. Like I said, excited to learn a lot from you. So do you want to tell us what got you started on this journey of yours? Why did you decide to start No Guilt Goodies? And just tell us a little more about that.
Yeah. So I actually struggled with my weight for a really long time. Ever since, I was never naturally thin. I was never physically active. I was never any of that. And it was like 2 years ago that it was probably like the heaviest that I had been. And I went to the doctors and I found out that I had like high blood pressure, and they wanted to put me on like medication. And I have a history of high blood pressure. Like my parents have it, my family has it. And the idea of being 26 and having to take medication for my blood pressure just really kind of got to me. And it had me really reflect on the choices that I was making as far as, my diet and my exercise. So that's when I kind of really started implementing eating healthier, and as well as doing other things just to kind of like lose the weight and be more active and all of that. And so, fast forward, I ended up losing like 50 pounds.
Amazing. That's so
Yeah,
wonderful.
thank you. I lost 50 pounds. I felt better about myself, physically. I looked better. I liked how I looked better. But I never, however, even though I lost all the weight and I felt like I physically looked better, I wasn't taking care of there was a lot of other things going on as far as like my mental and my emotional well-being. And No Guilt Goodies, yeah, it started off as me just kind of wanting to bake yummy treats that are good for you and healthy for you. But along the way, I learned a lot about myself, and that it's not all about how you look, and it's not all about diet and exercise. It's really about, making sure that, your mental and emotional well-being are taken care of, because that's what really matters. It's great to eat healthy and to exercise and all of that, but your mind and your emotions really need to get taken care of as well. And it took me a lot. It took me a year of just really going through some really tough things for me to realize that I needed to change my perspective on life and really focus on, other parts of myself, not just eating right and exercising.
No, absolutely. And I think that it shows like how much willpower and how strong you are to be like, hey, my blood pressure's high and all this stuff. And like, but it's to bring it down is in your control. Like you said, I can take medication or I can do something about it. And instead of sitting back and like taking medication, which for some people is like, you should, like, that's fine. But you took initiative and you were like, okay, well, I don't have to take medicine because I can do something about it. So a lot of people have a hard time doing that. So good for you. That's awesome. And also the fact that you're making goodies like sweets that are good for you it's like the best. I know personally I have like the biggest sweet tooth ever, and so
Me
like no
too.
matter what, even though I'm so full, any restaurant I go to, no matter what, I always ask for like to look at the dessert, even if I don't need it, because each place has something different. So to
Yeah.
have an option, and most of the time it's like some really bomb like apple pie or like something chocolate, and like we're so happy, like a tart and those, you know. But it's really awesome to have an option where like no refined sugar, like good stuff for you, but it still tastes good. So I think that's
Yeah.
really wonderful, because I know a lot of people have like a big sweet tooth. So I think it's a really great way to still get to indulge in that like sweet treat, but it's not as bad for you, you know?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
no guilt is pretty much what I was,
Right.
indulging without, feeling guilty about it, and without feeling like, um, I mean, for me, eating a lot of like sugar or like processed foods, like my body, it just does not sit right with my body. I always feel like kind of yucky afterwards.
Right.
And so, it's nice to enjoy something sweet and something that tastes good, and not also feel like crap about it physically and mentally after you eat something, sweet.
For sure. And it's so crazy because it does affect your mental health so much too.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you've experienced this before, but like when I've eaten too much like processed food, I think it's like gluten intolerance a little bit too, but like I get like a brain fog, and it's like my
Yeah.
body is just like unwell. And I still eat it sometimes, don't get me wrong, but I'm working on it. But it's just like your whole body, you're just not okay.
Yeah, no, same here. And I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying, something that may not be necessarily good for you. Like,
Of
I'm
course.
not about, restricting everything, but,
Yeah.
what we eat definitely impacts us in every way possible. And,
Right.
yeah, so, food is linked to a lot of other things as well, not just, not just weight gain. So it is very important to be conscious of what we're eating and what we're putting into our bodies, not so much as far as calories or anything like that, but just knowing the ingredients and what you're actually consuming. It's good to be mindful of what you're putting on your body.
Yeah, and I think most of the time we don't really check it out.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
As time has gone on with certain documentaries that have been on Netflix and stuff, they kind of like tell you about how things are processed. I feel like over the course of the last couple of years, a lot of people are more like aware and like, look into it. But I mean, you like it, you tried it, you like it, so why read it? Because what if it throws you off? Like, why would you do that? So
Yeah.
I think that's great. Next question. So what types of goodies do you like to make? Do you make like a lot of cookies? Like what kind of things can we find on your menu?
Yeah, so definitely I like to try new things. I recently just made donuts, which was fun, because, I bake with almond flour, coconut flour, which really all it is, all almond flour is just ground of almonds. So it doesn't rise the same as regular flour. So there's a lot of it's a lot trickier, baking with these ingredients.
Right.
So the challenge is trying to get the right consistency, because the consistency of a donut is very specific. It's kind of like more dense,
fluffy
and stuff like that. So trying to get the consistency right is a challenge, but it's fun to do. I like to do it because
for sure.
It's challenging, and when you do get it right, it's very rewarding. So just trying new things. My next recipe that I'm going to make, or that I'm working on, is cream puffs. I've I've never tried to make cream puffs before, so I'm going to try and do it. So yeah, but mostly I do like baking a lot of different types of cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Brownies, those like popular treats that like we all enjoy.
Right.
But upcoming for sure, I'm gonna kind of try and do a little bit more challenging things that you don't really maybe see so much on Instagram or other people like baking. So definitely stuff like that will be coming up soon.
That's so exciting. And we talked about this the other day, but it's like having that one thing, like you're gonna have like the best cream puffs and everything's just gonna like explode. But it's fun to like be able to find a place, because I mean donuts are definitely, I feel like, tricky. Like cookies are wonderful, but I feel like there's other places that you could find that have healthier cookies. But
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I have never seen a healthy cream puff.
Yeah, it's gonna
or donut,
yeah, I'm
honestly.
excited to make it. I'm working on the recipe. So yeah, I'm gonna be working on some recipes about like cream puffs and other desserts that you might not think could be healthy, but that will be. So I'm excited for that.
That's awesome. I feel like, I mean, I guess I've seen certain stuff with like fruit type desserts, you know, where you can like cut an apple in half and like bake the apple and like use oats, and it's like less calories because you're not using as much like pastry on the outside. But I
Yeah.
feel like I haven't seen like a ton of like fruity, super healthy things either. But because you're using the fruit, I feel like that's a good base for certain things too.
Yeah, it is. Just some people, I know, like, fruit does contain sugar, so I know some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that are a little bit too, like, they're just like, oh, like, they don't want to eat too much fruit because of the sugar and
right.
stuff. But
Makes sense.
yeah, there's definitely like, once you really explore, and once you I mean, for me, once I really started baking and learning a lot about the ingredients that I use, and just trial and error,
Mm-hmm.
you realize, or I realize, that there's a lot that you can make, and that is good, and that is, good for you, and it's, not filled with a bunch of junk and stuff. So,
No, definitely.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I'm so excited to try them. You have no idea. I
Yeah.
will be sharing with everyone when I receive them. I'm so pumped. So what kind of donuts did you make? Like chocolate glaze? What did you make?
I made cinnamon, like, sugar donuts. And like the classic, like, sugar. Those were like my favorite when I was like younger. Like, just like the
Mm-hmm.
ones coated in sugar. Probably
Yeah.
like the worst ones.
All about it. All about
Yeah.
it.
So I made I mean, there's a lot of different glazes that I make donuts with. Like, I can do like a chocolate glaze. I can do a lot of different ones. I
Right.
did do the cinnamon sugar ones for a dinner that one of my friends was having. It was a really huge hit. I don't use sugar. What I do use is monk fruit sweetener. Sorry, is that too loud?
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Sorry about that.
Life goes on around us. It's all good.
Yeah. So I don't use sugar. I use monk fruit sweetener, which is all natural sweetener, and it tastes like just the same. And it doesn't higher blood sugar levels. It's all of my treats that I make are actually really good for diabetics,
Okay,
because
that's cool.
it doesn't raise blood sugar levels. Yeah. So that's another thing to keep in mind as well.
No, yeah, that's super awesome. I feel like you could also like bring stuff like that to a party and like just don't say anything. Like they just look nice and be like, everyone will just eat them and love them, and you'll be like, and guess what?
Yeah, no, I've done
No
that.
guilt.
I've done that before. I've been like, and then they've been like, they would eat it, and like they wouldn't even know that it wasn't, full of like sugar and like processed refined flours and stuff. So
That's awesome. And so, like, let's say someone has an allergy. So, do you use coconut and almond together? Like, if someone has a nut allergy, would you just use coconut, or like, are you
yeah,
happy that you combine them?
if you have a nut allergy, I can definitely just use coconut flour. I mean, I do prefer to use almond flour for baking, but coconut flour is another really great option. I'm able to make things dairy free as well. If you
Which is
if you don't eat butter or milk or anything, or cheese or anything like that, I can always customize everything to be dairy free.
right.
And also if you have an allergy as well. Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, my cousin who was just visiting, I was just like asking people what they did over the weekend before you got on when we were figuring it out. And she doesn't eat nuts, so that's what it made me think of because we had something with almonds. Like she has an allergy, so that's why I was wondering because I figured
Yeah.
it's another substitute, and that's important because a lot of people do have a nut allergy.
Yeah, no, coconut flour is a really good option too, for baking as well. Yeah.
My
For
mom
sure.
just made some chicken recipe, and my sister's watching what she's eating because of stomach issues, and she just used coconut flour. I don't even know if I've had it on chicken, and it was good too.
Yeah.
Definitely
Oh,
option.
to do like bread, you can do like breaded chicken on like with coconut flour, or like fish. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what she
Try
did.
it.
Yeah, we literally
So
just
good.
super good. Okay, so this kind of like ties into it. So, do you have a specific diet that you personally, with your weight loss journey and everything, do you have a specific diet at the moment that you're following, or something that you kind of helps you keep on track, like other than maybe changing your eating habits or just like exercising more? I guess what did you change? Like what kind of change did you make? And then also, I guess you kind of just answered this. It's just the second part to the question. But are the goodies that you make following a specific diet? Like is there certain things that apply, or do you get what I'm asking? Or do you
Yeah, I
kind of
get.
do that based off of like requests?
Yeah. So a lot of people, like when they ask me about like how I lost the weight, or what I eat, they assume that like, oh, you're doing keto or paleo. When I really don't consider myself, and I don't label my diet as anything specific. I think the reason why a lot of people, may not stick to something is because they think that by that a diet is very restrictive, like restrictive, like keto is mostly like high fat, paleo is like high protein.
Right.
On my Instagram page, I do say that it's keto and paleo friendly, all my goodies, because they are. However, all that really means is that everything that I make is very low carb and no sugar, and that fits into keto and paleo both.
Right.
Some goodies I can make that are mostly, if you want to say keto, because I can make it like more higher in fat, because some people like to eat more healthy fats, or
Right.
I can gear them towards more paleo, which is lower in fat, higher in protein. But as far as me and my weight loss journey, I never counted my calories. I never counted macros. I never did any of that because for me, I felt that doing that just was unhealthy for me.
Right.
Uh, because then you become so obsessed with food and you start looking at food as like what I can eat and what I can't eat.
For sure.
Um,
Yeah, I've heard that.
instead of just kind of focusing on listening to your body, how your body responds to certain foods. I definitely stuck to more of a low carb diet because processed foods and a lot of grains didn't sit well with me, and they caused a lot of weight gain.
For sure.
Also
Yeah.
avoided sugar. Yeah, avoided sugar, definitely. And so that really helped gear me towards like my weight loss goal. Was kind of sticking to that, just whole foods, trying to stick to like organic foods. But yeah, I definitely don't consider myself to be any one specific diet. I just eat what I know is good for my body and what my body, responds well to.
That's great. Yeah. And I think like some dieting like works really well for certain people, and then other times it just like it's hard, especially
Yeah.
when you feel like you're limiting yourself so much. So, I think it's good for sure to have those things included. So the healthier fats and stuff then that are keto would be like oils, like avocado oil,
Yeah.
sunflower oil, stuff like that.
Yeah, coconut oil. A lot of if you're keto, usually like you do eat dairy, like heavy cream and that. If you're paleo, you don't really eat dairy, so I don't really use butter. If you want it more like paleo, I use coconut oil instead.
Mm-hmm.
So it just really depends on your preference.
Right.
But the
That's
thing in
wonderful.
common with yeah, the thing in common with both of them is they both is just like no sugar and very low carb. So it fits to whatever you see yourself as or what you prefer in your food.
Right. No, for sure. I feel like for myself, like I've definitely been on a roller coaster with it, with like losing weight and gaining it for sure. But
Yeah.
it's because it's not like I'm active, I'm super busy all the time, but it's literally because of what I eat because I get so preoccupied all the time. And so then like it'll be easier to grab something on my way to work, or like it'll be easier to um just not really think about it. Like I'm starting to try and like meal prep again and work through it, but it definitely is a time commitment and you have to be like ready for it.
Yeah.
But it's important because you feel better, like you said, and then your mental health and everything, spiritual, it all kind of connects. And so when you feel better physically too and mentally, then like your confidence goes up. It's so many benefits, like all the
Yeah.
benefits in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So definitely working on that too. Okay, so in general, you kind of explained this in the beginning, but you might elaborate a little further. But what for your business, for No Guilt Goodies, as well as for is it a health coach? What did you say the title of what?
Yeah, a health and wellness coach.
Mm-hmm. So what is your vision for yourself? Not like, I'm not going to ask your 5-year plan, but like, I guess kind of like, what do you see yourself amounting to? Like, what is it that you want for your future? To have your own practice, to have this brand, this like bakery booming? Like, what is it that you want for yourself? And
Yeah. Yeah, so I definitely see myself being a health and wellness coach, building my own, kind of building my own brand, I guess. I'm using No Guilt Goodies, right now as a page, like I said, to build a community and an audience and kind of, gain trust from all of my followers. I do still see, No Guilt Goodies in the future. Being a little bit bigger, selling a lot of my sweet treats and stuff. I also plan on incorporating more things like bread and just a lot of other different recipes. But I really want to focus on my health and wellness, being a health and wellness coach. and working one-on-one with others. I do plan on becoming certified as a health coach. That usually takes about 6 months to a year. Once I do that, I will be, kind of reaching out to clients and working one-on-one with people, and really focusing on holistic health. The good thing about being a health coach is, unlike a dietitian or a nutritionist who just is like putting you on a diet, is, they really just help you implement healthy habits into your life, and make sure that you do things that are going to take care of yourself as a whole. There's things like, and I know we all see it, is that people say, things like journaling every day, being grateful every day, setting your intentions for the day. There's a lot of little things that go into your everyday
Sure.
life that really make the biggest impact in the long run. And
Yeah.
it's really going to help you with your, mental and emotional well-being, as well as, your physical well-being.
Right. And that's so true. I think I've heard so much about journaling and done some Zooms on journaling and being grateful and all of those things. I'm just not good at being consistent. Personally, I'm not good at being consistent with writing in my journal. I just
Yeah.
forget. I get too busy. So for me, but that's not an excuse, I gotta, if that'll help. But I don't know if that's my strategy. But I know for a lot of people, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I definitely wake up and acknowledge what I'm grateful for and pray and stuff. But it's definitely, I've been wanting to find a way to be able to make that more of a consistent thing in my life, because I really struggle with remembering to do it.
Yeah.
And
it's hard, especially if you're really busy. It's hard to sometimes remember things, or remember to do it, or have time in your day. But
right.
Once you do have find some sort of accountability, or it becomes just something that you have to do. It doesn't
Right.
really become just how you have to go to work. It starts by doing it even when you don't want to do it, so it becomes a habit, and it becomes something that you just have to do, and you have to make time for.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means pushing other things to the side, but it's okay, because in the long run you're doing something that's beneficial for you.
I'm gonna write it on my to-do list right now for tomorrow. No, it just has to be, I feel like if it's written down, I'll do better, but it just has to be a priority. And it's 3 weeks, right, to form a habit. So sometimes that's hard, but it's definitely, in the end, it's so beneficial.
Yeah. You just really, in the beginning, you really just kind of have to force yourself to do it. And, even though you don't want to, and you look at it as a commitment instead of just an option.
Right.
And once you really start shifting your mindset and looking at it that way, it does start just becoming just part of your daily routine.
Right. And then you just can't go a day without it, because it's benefits you so much.
Yeah. And then you just feel for me, I'll feel just not aligned, not balanced if I don't do that. But it definitely takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of doing things that you don't want to do sometimes, and it can be uncomfortable.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it took me a while. It took me going through a really rough year in my life to really kind of sit back and reevaluate where I was going in life, and
Right.
realizing that I wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
And realizing that I had to change my whole mindset.
Mindset's everything. Literally.
Yeah, mindset is absolutely everything. I'm a huge, I don't know if you've ever studied cognitive behavioral therapy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really changing our thought processes, because our thoughts, it trickles down from thoughts to feelings, to behaviors. So once we start changing the way we think, that also trickles down, and that starts changing our feelings, that starts changing our behaviors. Right. And it's a slow, it's not easy, but it's what I needed to do in order for me to switch my mindset, and be in a better place, because I wasn't in a good place for a really long time.
Yeah, and I know that so many people can relate to that, and I can relate to that too. And especially during quarantine, as hard as it is, especially if we're in a little rut right now, what else do we have to do other than focus on ourselves?
Exactly.
And
It
so
is a really
it's
good
hard,
time to do that. Yeah, I mean, I know quarantine sucks. I know it was hard, but it is a good time, to really kind of maybe focus more on things that you didn't have time to before.
Right.
And I'm not saying that for me, it took a really low year for me to change my perspective on life, but not that doesn't have to be for everyone. I'm not saying everyone has to hit rock bottom in order to, you know, move things in a different direction.
Right. That's a whole
All it
reality
really
check,
takes,
though.
all it really takes is just, you can evaluate your life and ask, am I happy with how things are right now? Is there something that I could change?
Right.
Am I who I want to be? And once you start asking those questions and maybe you realize, you know what, I'm not happy where I am. I do want to become better. And once you just start making those like little realizations, you can start pushing forward and, start changing the things that you do and just keep moving forward to be who you do want to be.
For sure. And the thing is too is like you can't do those kind of things on your own, like you do need to have a support system. So I know everyone's heard this, but like surround yourself with like-minded people. So many like podcasts, and like instead of being on your phone before you go to sleep, like read a book or listen to an audiobook. I'm such a slow reader. I like to read a lot, but I'm very slow. So I listen to audiobooks a lot just because I can get further quicker.
Yeah.
Or just reading before bed makes you so tired and then you fall asleep. And because you're like staring at your phone is really bad for your brain.
Yeah, it really is.
I just got blue light glasses and they were supposed to be like the cute clear ones. I thought I had them right here, but they are like 4 times too big for my
I actually am thinking about I was thinking about ordering some too, for my work.
I don't know
for the computer. Yeah, because it's really bad for you. But they have some cute ones. I thought I've seen on Amazon.
I thought mine were cute. But they were only like $7. I bought them for me and my sister and she was like, ew, this is horrible. They're just like way too big. I don't know what they are. I'll wear them next time. But they're like, I mean, they're helpful though, definitely.
Yeah.
For a computer and for everything. So I have 2 more questions, and if you have anything at all that you want to add, just let me know. But so you've lost all this weight, and in the time being, I know that was a super challenge. You look wonderful. You're super motivating, so that's so awesome. So how during that time, and even now, because, honestly, you could just like stop what you're doing and gain your weight back. You could like go back into a funk if you allowed yourself to, but that's like totally up to you. So how do you remain motivated in regards to like staying healthy, keeping the weight off, just like having like a mindset that, especially like I said during this nonsense, having a mindset that's like allowing you to thrive rather than like sink,
Yeah. So for me, like I had said, my whole mindset and my whole perspective of my life really did change. I was a really good negative self-talker before. I had really low self-esteem before. I did a lot of things that were just not good for me at all. And I think what's really important for everyone, or for me, and what's helped me is I figured out, what my values are in life and what is important to me in my life. And one of them is self-respect, which for a long time, I forgot about that, having toxic people in my life, abusing alcohol, eating like crap. I thought that I valued self-respect, but yet everything that I was doing was the complete opposite of that. So I wasn't aligned. I wasn't aligning my behaviors with my beliefs. And now I'm at a point where, self-respect and self-love is very important for me. So I have to align my behaviors with that, which means taking care of my body, fueling it with good food, being active. And that also includes getting rid of toxic people. That also includes, not being so hard on myself and treating myself with compassion and all of that. So what keeps me motivated to stay healthy is that, I'm determined to, love myself and respect myself. And by doing that, that means that I'm going to take care of myself. So I think it's extremely important to to stick to your beliefs and your values. Um, and for a long time, not for a long time, but I felt, I'm 28 right now, and I felt a little bit like ashamed that I didn't have my stuff together at this age, Yeah. And it's like I was starting over, and there was some shame in me. But once I let go of that, and once I let go of the the fear of what others thought or
Yeah.
anything, and realize that it's only I'm in control of my behaviors and attitudes and thoughts. I can't control anything else that's going on. I have to do what's best for me.
100%.
And so, the only way out is through for me. So that's why I just keep going forward. Because for me, going back is just not an option. I don't want to go back to being unhappy. And I don't want to go back to all the crappy stuff that I went through. So for me, what keeps me motivated is I just got to keep pushing forward, because going back is not an option at all.
No, and honestly, like that's so amazing. I can relate on so many levels, and I know a lot of people can, but we're our own worst enemy. Like the devil's at us at all times, like trying to make us, it's just terrible. Like we are our own worst enemy. And so a lot of that stuff is super relatable. Like, and the toxic thing with like the people around you, I've had to cut some people out too, and it's such a challenge because you don't want, have you had a friend who makes you question things about yourself that like you never do at any other point, but because like they just talk on you all the time, they make you question yourself, and it's just like enough is enough. And it's not like they're not a good person, but sometimes they're just not a match for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's tough. It is really tough, but you can't feel bad about it. You have to do, what's best for you. And if they want to, if that person that you need to cut off wants to be angry about it, or
Bitter.
for whatever reason, you have no control over that. You can't let that bother you. You got to do what's best for yourself.
For sure.
So that's definitely hard.
Yeah, it's hard for sure, but no, I can tell, like, we don't even know each other that well yet, but I can tell how strong you are, and, like, never give yourself a hard time about the things you've been through, because that's helped you to become who you are now.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and it is hard to forgive yourself for things you've done, but then once you do, life just goes on. It's just part of your past, and, like, if you didn't have certain experiences take place, then you wouldn't be where you are. And I think you're pretty badass, so you're killing it. Good for you. I was not going to say any bad words, but that was a little one. It's a motivating one. It's a good one. But yeah, so last thing that I have here is if you have any tips, I will post this on my IGTV, and then if anyone is interested, and I will put your Instagram page and your information and stuff underneath so people can check it out. If anybody wants to order anything or find out more about Jessica's business and the stuff that she's doing, can reach out to her or reach out to me. I'm going to be ordering some stuff, so if anyone's in Maryland and wants to order something, we could do a big order and, figure it out, and I can bring it to you, or you can come to my house and pick it up. Within reason. And we can figure that out for sure. So if anyone else is interested, just let me know, let Jessica know, and we'll get you some goodies, some cream puffs, some donuts, whatever you want. Okay, well, it's up to her, but
Yeah.
Okay, so the last thing is just, do you have any tips on next steps? Or I guess we've kind of been talking about how to remain motivated the whole time, but do you have any tips in general on how to reach that goal, or how to wake up tomorrow morning and be like, okay, I can?
Yeah, we, like I said, just really letting go of any fear that you may have. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, if your goal is to start a business, or doesn't necessarily have to be, career driven. It's, if there's just something in your life that you believe that needs changing, that you're not happy with, just start making small steps. I have this jar that I keep by my bedside. It's full of positive affirmations that I pull from every day. And today, one of them, yeah.
I have one too.
That's awesome. Yeah. So today I pulled one that said, baby steps are progress. And it's true. So you just gotta, if there's something that you want to change with your life, whether it be eating healthier or whether it be, taking better care of your mental or emotional well-being, it just starts with baby steps. Just do little things every day, and those little things eventually, will make a big impact on yourself. But yeah, just keep pushing, keep moving forward. And it's funny because I remember years ago listening to these people talk about stuff like this and saying those, like, I guess you would say, like, oh, that's so cheesy, like, keep pushing forward, or let go and let God, like, and I would listen and be like, oh gosh, like, that's so cheesy, that's so cliche. But it's really, really not. Like, once you actually do decide to make the change to do something different, those cliches aren't really cliches at all. They're very, very true. So yeah, just if you're happy, just you got to start making small steps to feel better about whatever it is you're unhappy about.
No, for sure. And if you dive in head first, it's not as likely that you'll be able to follow through right away. I feel like you said, it's baby steps.
Yeah.
And I think something that's really hard for people is that you see comparing yourself to other people's success is like a big one. But realize they did not just start, like, they've been doing this, like, realize this is not new. They've worked hard, and you have the ability to surpass where they are, to go further, to be at the same level. The work that you put in is what you're going to get out.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
if you don't do it, or if you just keep doing that, and I feel like with social media and all this stuff, it's like really hard not to do that. I do it all the time.
Oh, I do it all the time. I'm very guilty of that because it's hard not to compare yourself with someone else, whether it be their success, their looks, or whatever it
All
may
of the above.
be.
Yeah.
And but we have to, it's hard with social media, but at the same time, it's good to take positivity from those people that you admire, and it's good to take their success as being like, oh, like, wow, like, like, I want to follow my passion, I want to follow my dream. So it's good to take the positive from them, but it's not good to beat yourself up just because you're not exactly where they are, or maybe you don't look like them, or so on and so forth. That's not good for you. But yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that too. I think we all are. But it's really just stepping back and realizing, like, you have your own journey, you have your own path. Your path may be different than theirs, and that's totally okay. And your time will come.
Yeah, absolutely. Just remember and acknowledge that you can, but you have to work for it. Nothing's going to fall into your lap. If you win the lottery, that's awesome. Good for you. But if you want to be doing all these big things, you really got to put in the effort. So
yeah,
and it doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. You just got to keep pushing. So
yeah, patience. I learned is patience is a virtue for sure. But it takes a lot of patience with yourself and everything, because you're right, it doesn't come overnight. Nothing does. It takes a lot of patience, and be compassionate towards yourself. Don't beat yourself up so much. And
right, for sure.
I was so guilty of that for so long. It's just that doesn't help you change. That doesn't help you get better.
No, you won't become a better version of yourself if you're hard on yourself. And I'm hard on myself all the time too.
Yeah.
I think this conversation and this chat and us meeting each other, though, for me too, is like wonderful, because a lot of these things that we've talked about, I'm super guilty of, and I will own it and acknowledge it till the end of time. It's really hard, but I think most people can relate on this level. And if they're not there anymore, they've already surpassed the issue. A lot of them have moved past it, like you have, but it's still a day-to-day thing.
Oh,
there's
absolutely.
still things to work on always.
Always. Yeah. Can always, I always strive every day to, I say continue, improve, and practice. I just always strive to be a better version of myself. Cause no one's perfect. All we can do is just, try to be the best versions of ourselves. And however that may look like to you or to me could be different, but, definitely just, keep striving to be a good person, be who I want to be.
For sure, and that's so wonderful. And a lot of the times the things that we see on social media or stuff that we're comparing ourselves to is surface level. We don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
So the only person you can really worry about is yourself.
yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
End of the day. Well, Jessica, this has been so wonderful. Such an encouraging chat, honestly, in general. So encouraging and great. So I'm so glad that we connected and that you were able to get on. Like I said, everything will be posted and I will text you right after this. But thank you for everything that you shared. That went great. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had fun.
Of course. All right. Have a great night. Bye,
All right.
everyone. Thanks for hopping on. All right. Bye.